Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Friday, and that means tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. As far as tonight's Smackdown does go, I thought tonight's show was a really good show. Just like a lot of WWE shows have been doing recently, it flowed really well. It went by really quickly. We had a lot of good action that built to the pay-per-view and maybe even beyond. Maybe we saw stuff already start to be built for Clash at the Castle. We'll talk about that with the Bayley, Piper Niven, Chelsea Green segment. So, excuse me. There's a lot to talk about as far as 4 King and Queen of the Ring matches. One that was really, really dumb, but I kind of get why they did it. They could have done it better, though. And we also had, I guess you could say, new number 1 contenders crowned for the tag titles, I think. I got to go back into my notes and double check, because I think they said they would be the new number 1 contenders, but I can't fully remember. And also, this podcast is brought to you by the brand new book by Zach Hayden, Stunning, the Wrestling Artistry of Steve Austin, but we'll tell you about that a little bit later. I want to say thank you for joining us here, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos, that way you know when we go live, and that way you know when we post to the community tab. Hit that join button to become a channel member, even if you just donate at the $1 tier. Greatly appreciated, whether you sign up as a channel member on YouTube or at patreon.com/PWU Unlimited. And finally, if you want to make sure your comment, question, or concern does get read on the air, another great way to support the channel is by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game like Hades 2, an older game like Ghost of Tsushima, or you're claiming the free game, which is, Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year Edition. That's a big one. That's a great game. I have played it and love it. When you're claiming it for free, put in this code, PWUNLIMITED, for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. Also, maybe you're getting something for Fortnite. Fortnite has added some, I guess you would say, mischief, as there are 2 new versions of Loki in the game. Yeah, right straight from the TV show. You got Loki and you got Sylvie. You can now play as in Fortnite. This is a new version of Loki. We had Loki before, but this is a new version of Loki. And also remember, still got a bunch of Star Wars Lego stuff that they've added as well. So when getting any of that for Fortnite, maybe you're getting something for Rocket League, maybe you're getting something for Fall Guys, use this code PW Unlimited for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. Again, remember, this podcast is also brought to you by the brand new book, Stunning, the Wrestling Artistry of Steve Austin, an unauthorized biography written by Zach Hayden, which we'll tell you about a little bit later. As far as SmackDown does go tonight, we got a video hyping up the latest action in the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments and where we're at tonight with Friday Night SmackDown. LA Knight and the Bloodline are shown entering the building. Jade Cargill and Nia Jax, as well was Randy Orton and Carmelo Hayes. And then we didn't see Bianca entering. We didn't see Tiffany entering because, well, they kicked off the show. Right away, we get into our first Queen of the Ring match. It goes 13 minutes and 15 seconds. It's Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton. Now let's talk for a second. I haven't talked about this on anything, so let's talk about old Tiff. Old Tiffy time. So, actually, I did slightly talk about this on Monday, but there's more news about this. So, I want to say Monday. No, maybe it was Wednesday. Maybe we talked about this Wednesday. I know me and Luke briefly mentioned it. A video started surfacing on social media earlier this week that was a screen recording of an Instagram story from Tiffany Stratton that was quickly removed. Basically, it was a video of her, I guess it was on Smackdown, knocking Jade Cargill off the apron, and then you see Bianca Belair all shocked, and the audio in it, and I'm not going to get into any of that, but it's like Black B, you know what I mean. And so everyone's like, oh my gosh, she's a racist, she's a racist, she's a racist, she should be fired, she said this, she said that. And I'm going to pull this and read this from Mike Johnson over at PWU Insider, because apparently there's nothing to any of this. There's no heat on her. As we saw tonight, she worked SmackDown no problem. So as far as is WWE upset about Tiffany Stratton, why am I not finding it now? Give me one quick second. Here we go. Mike Johnson, PWU Insider, does write. In regards to numerous emails we've received today about the status of WWE star Tiffany Stratton, there is nothing to the rumors that Stratton's match tomorrow on Friday Night SmackDown has been pulled from the Fox broadcast. Pulling away, it wasn't. We saw the match tonight. Back to Johnson's writing. There's been a social media rumor making the rounds over the last day that Stratton was in trouble for a posting she allegedly made. And then let me pull back from this again. That's the big thing to note there. She allegedly made, because there's only one recording that's surfacing, floating around out there. So it's not like multiple people saw this and got a recording of it and then posted it. So honestly, since there is only one recording, you cannot actually say if that recording was actually posted on Tiffany's Instagram story or not. You can't say either way, yes, this was posted and then taken down, or this was never posted, somebody made it to make her look bad. We can't say either way because there's only one thing to look at. It's not solid, if you know what I mean. Anyways, back to Johnson's reporting. Which then fed into a story that her Queen of the Ring tournament match against Bianca Belair was pulled. It has not and was not, we are told. After speaking to several credible sources, we are told that she's absolutely not in trouble for anything internally within WWE, and that Stratton's been nothing but praised by management and other talents since moving to the main roster a few months back. Despite the rumors, we are told that Stratton's status within the company is unchanged, and she remains on good footing, as she's seen as someone with a high upside by management. So, basically, like I said, there's no concrete evidence that the video was even posted by Tiffany Stratton. In this day and age, with people just trying to get other people in trouble for the hell of it and making stuff up, that's what it could be. Now, I'm not saying that that's exactly what it is. I'm saying there is a chance Tiffany Stratton could have posted the video in question and then removed it, but there's not enough concrete evidence to prove either way. And according to this report from Mike Johnson of PWU Insider, the company don't care either way either. They see her as a star. They see her as a major player within the company. People in charge, people that work with her, people that are her peers, all like her and have nothing but good to say about her. So, yeah, all the Tiffany Stratton stuff on, is she going to get fired? Is she this? Is she that? Ain't going to happen. I mean, did you see her entrance tonight? Huge pop from the crowd in Jacksonville, in Duval. So, back to our Smackdown report. Pull this back up here. So the crowd was hot right off the bell. They were really for both women. Belair backed Stratton into a corner and then posed for a second. The two traded some pushes back and forth before Stratton slapped the hell out of Bianca. Stratton followed this up by taking Bianca down via Bianca's braid. Belair fired up, slapped Stratton back, and repeatedly slammed Stratton down. Belair then went for a scissor move, but Stratton kicked Belair right in the gut. Belair, no, that's not the right one. The gut was off the handspring. Never mind. The gut was off the handspring, and someone made a stupid joke about that too. We'll get to that in a minute. Belair hit a moonsault while selling her injured knee. Remember the knee from last week that was injured, and now they're playing that up for next week as well. Anywho, she was selling the knee. Belair Then tried to go at Stratton on the outside. Stratton grabbed Belair's braid once again and whipped her into the apron, draping Belair and slamming her on her bad knee. Stratton then ran Belair into the ring steps, knee first, and Stratton posed as the show went to a commercial break about 4 minutes in. Kind of quick for the first commercial break, if I'm being completely honest. Like 4 minutes into the match, maybe 5-6 minutes into the show, I'm like, damn, we're already at a break? Okay. Anywho, so the show returns and Stratton was working over the knee. Belair kicks Stratton to the floor. Stratton then tried to pull Belair into the ring post, but Belair used her momentum to slam Stratton to the post instead. With both wrestlers back in the ring, Belair fired up and hit a series of slams on Stratton. Belair capped her run off, kind of with like a modified spine buster. Belair looked to set up for a jaded, but then the two kind of exchanged roll-ups instead. Belair went for a KOD, but Stratton countered and landed a double stomp for a nice near fall of her own. Stratton then went for a splash in the corner, but Belair caught her and hit a high-angle German suplex, and then another for nice measure. We got a "This is awesome" chant by the crowd. Excuse me. After coming down to the wire of the match, Belair tried to drag Stratton into the ring, and Stratton grabbed the apron. With the referee distracted, Stratton got a thumb to the eye and gained control. Stratton followed this up with a sliding elbow for a good near fall. We thought Stratton may win. She goes for the prettiest moonsault ever, but Belair cut Stratton off, hit her with the KOD, and pinned her to pick up the victory. So Tiffany Stratton loses, Bianca Belair wins, and moves on to the next round of the Queen of the Ring tournament. I thought these two worked so good together. These two are great opponents for one another, and I can't wait till we get another one. I can't wait till we see Tiffany Stratton and Bianca Belair once again, because these two worked so good together. The crowd was behind it the entire time. Everybody there loved it. I loved it watching it at home. And I didn't mention it here, but there was a spot where Bianca's going for like a back handspring, and Tiffany kicks her in the gut. And I see people on Twitter going, "Kicked her in the baby. Kicked her baby." What? Bianca ain't pregnant. Like, okay, I could say the whole "she's not going to wrestle pregnant." Yep, Becky did. Becky did. But I don't know if Becky... Do we know if Becky actually knew she was pregnant when she had that WrestleMania match with Shayna? I don't really know. But for people to be like, "Oh, she's pregnant, kicked her right in the baby." Like, why are you making stuff up? And it's funny because Bianca and Montez did an interview earlier this year with Fightful. And he was like, "What's like the craziest rumor that you guys see on social media?" And they're both like, "Well, we don't really follow social media that much. You don't really post or look at it." And then Bianca goes, "But whenever I'm gone for more than a couple weeks or whatever, people start assuming I might be pregnant, and that's why I'm missing TV." She said something along those lines. I don't remember verbatim, but she's like, "Yeah, every like 3 months when I miss some time or I'm away, people assume I'm pregnant." So yeah, but she wasn't away. Just saying, she was there. She's been there. She's on TV every week. So after the match, Kathy Kelly interviews Bianca Belair in the middle of the ring. She asked her about the knee. Belair said her knee's not 100%, but that's fine because she's still going to go. She's still going to give it her all. And the crowd started chanting EST. Belair said nothing is going to stop her from becoming the Queen of the Ring. So next week, she fights in the Smackdown finals, which is, I want to say this. I always get this stuff mixed up. Quarterfinal, semifinal, what is? Let me look at the graphic really fast. It is a D semifinals. So it's opening round, quarter, semi-final. Okay. I always mix all that up. So then we see Logan Paul walking backstage, and he goes to Nick Aldis's office. He opens the door, and we hear LA Knight talking before walking out. The two then have a very interesting stare down. Nick Aldis gets between them, and then LA Knight goes on his way because, well, Nick Aldis is like, "Logan, let's have a talk." And then Nick Aldis and Logan go into the office. We'll learn what that's all about later. We get a cool video of WWE profiling the military, members of the U.S. Navy. Corey Graves noted how it was Military Appreciation Month. Byron Saxon's in the back interviewing Jade Cargill. Cargill called Nia Jax one of the best, a beast, an irresistible force, but to me, she's just in my way. Bianca then walked up, and Jade congratulated her on winning her match against Tiffany. And then they kind of had an awkward little moment where it was like, well, next week it could be you versus me. And Bianca's just like, you know what, girl? We'll worry about one match at a time. Worry about tonight, and then we'll think about what could happen next week. And so Jade goes on her way. We get a video recapping everything that's been going on with the Bloodline and their developments. The Bloodline were then shown backstage. So Sikoa and Paul Heyman spoke. And Heyman asked Sikoa if he had talked to Roman today. He's like, so, yeah, talked to him today? And so it just goes, all the time. And walked away. Also, the segment starts, and Tama Tonga's pacing, and he's just here. I'm like, is the Tasmanian Devil? Donnie from the Wild Thornberries? Remember back in the day? Nickelodeon? Wild Thornberries? I love the Wild Thornberries. Still watch Wild Thornberries to this day with my kids. But you had the younger Jungle Brother that they adopted. Donnie, voiced by Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And he used to talk like that. That's kind of what Tama Tonga was doing today. Because like it was a mix between like a Donnie and a Tasmanian Devil. Because the Tasmanian Devil was always like so I'm like, oh. Tama Tonga's like a mix. He's just a crazy bastard. How about we just say that? Tama Tonga is supposed to be portrayed as one crazy bastard. So, his upcoming opponent, LA Knight, was being interviewed backstage. Knight said that the Bloodline doesn't look the same as they used to. And he said that he is going to win King of the Ring. Carmelo Hayes would then walk into frame and said that he wanted to give Knight the ability to welcome him to Friday Night Smackdown. Knight talked about how people didn't know who the first draft pick was in the year that Tom Brady was drafted, taking shots at Carmelo Hayes, bragging on being one of the first draft picks, a first round draft pick. Because he was just like, yeah, I was a first round draft pick. Where were you picked? He's like, what does it matter? Who remembers the first draft pick when Tom Brady was drafted? Yeah, no one. Knight then did his little catchphrase and told Hayes to, quote, go play somewhere, I'm busy. And then, well, the next match started. It was a King of the Ring quarterfinal match. It was Tama Tonga versus LA Knight in a 9-minute match. I liked it. I thought it was a good match. Crowd mega hot for LA Knight. They did not like Tama Tonga. Not in a way that they don't like him, but he's the heel. They're gonna boo the heel. So I thought this match was really good. These two worked well together. And it was a great, like these two had a great babyface heel dynamic. So Knight began with a flurry of punches, just kind of just like, bah, 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 shots to the side of the head of Tama Tonga, right to the ear a couple of times. I think he threw an elbow at one point as well. Tama Tonga then tried to work a sleeper hold, but Knight quickly countered that. Corey Graves was talking about how, you know, there's some kind of upbringing that Tama Tonga has from Haku. Haku out here not teaching his kids about manners, just to beat people up or something like that. I was like, oh, I like that. Saying that, you know, he's not just like this because he's crazy or whatever. His father raised him to be a badass. His father raised him to take no shit, take no prisoners, beat people's ass. I like that kind of, you know, dynamic they're trying to add there with Tama Tonga. Don't know too much about Tangaloa's character yet. He's a very mysterious, sly one so far. Tama Tonga at one point hits LA Knight with a very stiff-looking clothesline. Knight, though, responds with a clothesline of his own. Knight then hit a back body drop and stomped a mud hole on Tama Tonga. Sikoa then walked onto the apron to get the distraction and Knight's attention. Tonga then did the same thing until Knight intimidated him off the apron. Tonga then took the advantage here and ran Knight into the ring post. Tonga followed this up with another stiff clothesline on Knight, who was then on the outside as the show went to a commercial break. The show then returned with "We Want Roman" chants that were very loud and evident in that building. Tonga kept control over Knight inside the ring here. Tonga went to the top and tried to go for a splash, but Knight moved and followed this up with a series of strikes, a crossbody, a clothesline, and then he took Tonga to the floor over the top rope. Knight then slammed Tonga's head on the apron repeatedly. Back inside the ring, Knight hit a power slam, an elbow combination, and so forth. The crowd then chanted MFT. Loa pulled his brother outside the ring. No, they chanted BFT, my bad. BFT, blunt force trauma, because he was going for the blunt force trauma. Knight then dropkicked Loa and found himself in a stare down with Solo Sikoa. We got Tonga, Tango Loa, and Solo Sikoa. Got some rhymes there. I just realized that. Anywho. Knight then returned to the ring. Tonga hit him with his finisher, whatever that little flatliner reverse zigzag is. And he pinned him to pick up the victory. Tonga does move forward in the King of the Ring tournament. And I love it. I love the emphasis they're putting on Tonga, telling us that this guy is a badass. This guy is picking up victories early in his career here, and they're significant, important victories. Is he going to make the finals of the King of the Ring tournament? I don't think so. I think Randy Orton wins next week. Is there a chance Tonga makes the finals? Yes, because of the bloodline. But we'll have to wait and see. But regardless, I'm enjoying this early run of Tonga so far in WWE. Would I have preferred him to be the Bullet Club version with Gallows and Anderson? Maybe. But at the same time, it's like, I could say that, not knowing what it would be in WWE, just knowing what I think it would be based off their New Japan run. And maybe this is the better move for Tonga and Tanga Loa right now. So I'm going to let it play out and see how long they all remain Bloodline for. I'm still sticking strong on my prediction that when they bring in more of the new guys, they end up turning on Solo, which then in turn puts Solo back with Roman. They somehow get Jay back in there, and then we get new Bloodline, whatever they're going to call that, against the OG Bloodline, and boom, bang, bing. So I still think that's the route they should go. Do the new Bloodline versus the old Bloodline, but Solo's not the new Bloodline. He's back with the OG Bloodline. It's a whole thing. The whole thing I've talked about before. It's all fantasy booking, though. LA Knight was shown walking backstage. He was dejected by his loss. He runs into Carmelo Hayes. Knight and Hayes then jaw-jacked at each other before they were broken up by Charles Robinson before anything could really happen. So then we get a very interesting segment. It's the contract signing between Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul. Now, going into this contract signing, the big question, the overarching question that nobody knew the answer to, kind of, sort of, really was, both titles on the line? Cody defending the undisputed WWE Championship, Logan defending the United States Championship, and we got a tweet maybe an hour or two before Raw went on the air, SmackDown went on the air. I'm going to pull this up from WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes sent out a tweet that stated, and I'm going to read this and show this on the screen. WrestleVotes did send out this tweet about 2 hours before the show went on the air, before SmackDown went on the air. And why is it not popping up now? Here we go. So the tweet itself does read, "Tonight's SmackDown from Jacksonville. Tiffany versus Bianca Belair is on the rundown as of now. Logan Paul gets his match versus Cody Rhodes in Saudi for the WWE title only. And Randy Orton vows war against the Bloodline." So read that into that where it says for the WWE title only. Only. So we read that and we go, okay, only one belt on the line. Then SmackDown's on the air. They're setting up for this contract signing. And Corey Graves alerts us that both belts are on the line. He says, Cody Rhodes will be defending the undisputed WWE Championship, as Logan Paul will be defending the WWE United States Championship. And so I'm like, wait, what is going on? Corey said both belts. I'm going with Corey. But we had to let it play out. So, totally hot crowd for Cody. Cody's got a lot of history in Jacksonville with AEW. He grabs the mic and he does the Duval. And he goes, everybody knows I love it here. Again, Cody's got a lot of history in Jacksonville. Cody said that he loves Jacksonville, and everybody should know that. Cody asked Paul if he knew that it was the War Games 1992 anniversary and that the match took place right here in Jacksonville. Cody touted how he is a fan of pro wrestling while Paul is not really a fan. Cody called Paul a tourist who only makes viral moments. Cody said it's time for him to become a Grand Slam champion. Again, playing up the fact that both titles will be on the line. Paul then started to respond, and the crowd drowned him out with boos. Paul asked Cody if he was stalling because he didn't come to listen to Cody talk. Paul said that he came to sign a contract. Paul said that it was a horrible crowd, and he was going to sign the contract to get out of here. Paul then looks over the contract, and he goes, this is a great contract. I like this, but there's one little thing. It's not good. So he's got some stooges with him and a lawyer. And he takes the contract and he rips it in half. And the crowd starts chanting, you can't read. You can't read. You can't read. And he goes, no, Jacksonville, I can read. But this isn't what I agreed to. He's like, Nick, we had a talk earlier. I did not agree to putting my title on the line. I only agreed to fighting for the undisputed WWE Championship. And I had my lawyer, and he gives the lawyer's name. I didn't get the lawyer's name. Write up that contract. And so he has his lawyer hand him that contract, and the lawyer lays it out for him and everything, and he grabs it and he goes, yep, this is exactly what we agreed to, not what you were trying to get me to sign. And so he takes his contract and throws it at Nick Aldis and says, get it done. And I'm sitting here going, don't make Nick Aldis look like a goof. Don't make him look like a weak authority figure. And Nick kind of bows up to Logan Paul and is like, hey, first off, this ain't how things work around here. This isn't how business is done, and you are being very unprofessional right now. This will not stand on my show. The lawyer for Logan Paul then says, wait, you threatening my client? Yeah, we have a problem here? And Nick Aldis looks like he's getting pissed, and Cody's like, hold on, Nick. You know me. I know you. We've known each other for a very long time. And I know how you can get when things may get heated. I want to tell you that you're doing a great job here on Smackdown. Crowd cheers. But I've got this. You can go. I'll take care of this. So Nick Aldis, a pissed off Nick Aldis does leave. And I do want to say, they made Nick Aldis be able to save face here. Because it wasn't the whole, he's going to get bullied by the talent to get what he wants. Logan Paul's not going to bully the GM to give him what he wants and make the GM look like anybody can just steamroll over him. No, it was more of, hey, this ain't how it works here on my show. You can't tell me what to do. It's not what we agreed upon. You're not writing your own contracts, this and that. But then when the champion says, you know what? Let me talk to him and see what I can get out of him. That kind of saves face for the general manager, in my opinion. Some may see it differently. I did see some people on Twitter say that it still did make Nick Aldis look a little weak for walking away and not just telling Logan, no, you're not getting it how you want. But then I liked how Cody was like, I'll take it into my own hands. We don't need authority figures or anybody here. So Nick Aldis leaves. Paul's like, I already signed this contract. So Cody, sign it. Paul said that Cody hasn't done anything to deserve a shot at the U.S. title. And I'm like, okay, well, what have you done to deserve a shot at the Undisputed Championship? Dip-dong. Paul then told Cody again, sign the contract, and he throws it to Cody. Cody then stands up and gets tense and bows up to Paul. Cody said, you know what? The honeymoon phase is over with you. I've seen you do a moonsault. I've seen you do a flip. What's left? Cody then says, and he got this wrong. He said, in 8 days, a WWE Hall of Famer is going to knock out your brother. And I'm like, no, not in 8 days, because that fight's not till July 20th, and it's only May 17th. Anyways, Cody says, and I'm going to do the same to you next week. Cody signs the contract, and then he puts one of Paul's lackeys through the table, basically. He power bombs him through the table. Logan Paul runs off, and Cody's got both belts in hand. Cody's got the U.S. title, and he's looking at it. He goes over and grabs his title, and Logan's yelling, "That's my belt. Give me my belt. That's my belt." So Cody hooks it over the top rope. Logan catches it and cradles it, and the show goes off the air with Cody's music playing. Thought it worked well. But they did a good job on telling us why only one belt's on the line. Kinda. Cody still does need that U.S. title to become a Grand Slam champion. But it's whatever. Am I a fan of this match happening? Yes and no. Do I want to see Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul? Yes, because I think that's going to be a good match. But do I want to see the U.S. champion challenging for the undisputed title? No, because instead, the U.S. title should be on the line. Why is the U.S. champion challenging for the undisputed title when he's already got a title? There's no reason. It's not like they're unifying the belts. So, what are we doing here? Regardless, only one belt is on the line. We finally know the answer to the question. Only the undisputed WWE Championship is on the line, not the United States title. Go to the back. Kathy Kelly interviews Nia Jax. Jax interrupted Kelly mid-sentence and said that everybody says that Jade is so strong and impressive. Jax said that Cargill, well, she'll never be queen of the ring because Nia is the real queen of the ring. Jax's music plays, and she says, well, time for me to go for my match. And well, match went 2 minutes, and it was a oof. It was a oof. Also, am I the only one that noticed that Nia was being very gentle with Jade, at least in the early portions of this match before the DQ happened? I felt like Nia, in the past, has looked very reckless. But tonight against Jade, of all people, she looked like she was being safe. Very safe. Anyways. So the two started off in the ring with some quick back and forth action. Cargill bounced back quickly and then slammed to Jax. The action spilled to the outside where Jax threw Cargill down right in front of her daughter. A good little, thing there. Jackson told Cargill's daughter, "Your mom sucks." The women then got back into the ring, but Cargill ran Jax right back to the outside. Cargill then ran at Jax, but Jax moved, and Cargill ran into the ring post. Jax then roughed her up a little bit on the commentary table. She threw a chair, she threw a desk chair, and then Jax raised up another chair like she was going to hit Jade with it, but Jade stopped it. Ref is just standing in the ring watching all of this. I think he's counting, I don't even know. And so Jade grabs the chair, pulls it out of Nia's hands, and then just, boom, cracks Nia over the back with it. And ref's like, what? Call for the bell. It's over. She lost. DQ. Crowd's chanting, bullshit. Bullshit. And I'm over here going, oh my God. So they didn't want to beat Jade, but they didn't want Jade to advance to have to face Bianca. So I get why you do a DQ, but why did you have to do such a lame DQ? You made Jade, and in turn kind of Nia at the same time, look so stupid. You have this chair, and you're just going to hit your opponent with it with the ref watching? You know the ref's watching. What do you think is going to happen? The ref's just going to say, ask her, I'll be lenient and let it happen? No. So technically, both women, more Jade though, look dumb. Nia looked dumb for trying to use the chair first, but then Jade looked dumb for actually connecting with the chair and getting herself disqualified from the tournament. If this was just a random SmackDown match, screw it. Who cares? She got DQ'd. But to get yourself DQ'd in the tournament makes you look dumb. Then the two women just brawl around the ringside area, up the ramp, and they're finally separated. This was dumb. Dumb. Again, I'll say it. This was dumb. Dum da dum dum dum. Moving forward, we got DIY against Legado del Fantasma. It's Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa against Humberto and Angel. I don't know what story going on with Ciampa is, but he comes down to the ring. So we come back to them, and their entrance is like in motion already. And so they come down to the ring and they do their little like knuckles or whatever. But Ciampa's looking pissed. Like Ciampa's looking, I don't want to be here, pissed off, which is weird. And then they get in the ring, they do the rest of our entrance or whatever. Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, the World Tag Team Champions. No, WWE Tag Team Champions on commentary. Gargano and Berto start things off. Berto quickly got control until he was taken down and Ciampa was tagged in. From there, Ciampa cleaned house of Legado del Fantasma. Ciampa and Gargano landed stereo suicide dives on LDF, and then we fight on the outside for a little bit. Back inside the ring, Ciampa was running the ropes, and Angel held the top rope, sending Ciampa to the outside. We then go to a break. When the show returned, Ciampa was beating down Angel until Berto tagged in and hit the Garza special. Berto then got a 2 count out of it, and Humberto and Ciampa tried to suplex each other multiple times until Ciampa finally got the best of it and suplexed Berto. Gargano then received a hot tag and took both Berto and Angel out. Gargano then landed a slingshot spear on Berto and went to the top. Santos Escobar tried to cause a little bit of distraction, as the ref was also distracted by Elektra Lopez. She grabbed the leg of Gargano as well. Referee then threw out Legado del Fantasma for ringside, but with that, they tried to distract DIY, but it distracted themselves instead, and, well, DIY hit the meat in the middle and picked up the victory. So basically they're saying, you're cheating, hurt your own team. You tried to distract us, you distracted your own guys, and we win. Also on commentary, they played it up big. You knew DIY was winning for a multitude of reasons. A, because they kept telling us that the winners would probably become #1 contenders. And so when you have heel champions, you want the babyface challengers. But then they kept playing up the fact of, Austin Theory, you've got history going back to NXT with Johnny Gargano in the way. What is the difference between you now and you then? And he's just like, did I have gold then? Was I champion in the way? No, I'm a tag team champion now here with Grayson. So they really played into the whole history with Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano. So then, interestingly, Corey Graves and Wade Barrett bring up the mysterious QR codes that have been popping up on WWE television recently, and even the mysterious live stream from yesterday on the WWE Twitch channel. Something's happening soon. I'm just going to say that. We got an interesting segment with AJ Styles. Styles was interviewed by Byron Saxton. Saxton's like, hey, we had a great match with Cody Rhodes and Backlash. Cody, unfortunately for you, came out victorious. What's next? AJ said, that's the big question. And, well, I'm about to head over to Nick Aldis's office right now and find out what's next for me. Styles then walked away, and the show went back to the ring for the main event. Very interesting. I don't know what they do next with AJ. Like, they're going to tease a trade? Maybe trade him to Raw? Get somebody else to Smackdown? I don't know. Are they is he gonna challenge Logan Paul for the U.S. title? I don't know. I don't know what they do with AJ. And it's like, damn, I wish I did. So we'll have to wait and see. Get a Bayley interview. She's also being interviewed by Byron Saxton. She's interrupted by Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Green basically said that Bayley was the reason that Niven lost last week. And then Bayley's like, you sure like to talk? How about we talk next week? In the ring, I'll see you then. So I think she challenged Chelsea. And what this could lead to, not a match for King and Queen of the Ring, which is next weekend, but you do Chelsea versus Bayley on the show from Saudi next week, the Smackdown, which then in turn, 3 weeks later, could lead to Piper Niven becoming the #1 contender for Bayley and the WWE Women's Championship in Glasgow, Scotland at Clash at the Castle. That would be a great move to do. Piper Niven in her home country of Scotland, challenging Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. That's just my thought process on all of this and where it could lead to. I don't know if that's the route, but that's what my brain went to as soon as I saw this segment. I'm like, oh, you do the Chelsea match first with Bayley on SmackDown, and that leads a couple weeks later to the actual title shot with Piper and Bayley. Whether that is in Scotland on SmackDown or in Scotland on the Clash of the Castle pay-per-view. You can do it either way. You can do it on either show. Pay-per-view is the bigger platform, so I would say the pay-per-view. So we get our main event match. It goes about 10.5 minutes. It's Randy Orton and Carmelo Hayes. And yeah, there's a couple ways you can go here. Randy Orton beats Carmelo Hayes. So we know next week it is Randy Orton and Tonga. So I see two options. Tonga and Jey Uso in the King of the Ring finals, or Randy Orton versus Gunther. Could they go other ways? Tonga and Gunther? Randy and Jey? Maybe. But I see only two options here. If Jey wins on Monday, it's Jey and Tonga in the finals of King of the Ring. If Gunther wins on Monday, I think it's Randy Orton and Gunther in the finals of the King of the Ring. So that's just my thought process. We'll see how it goes based off of Monday and then, well, next Friday. Things start off kind of slow. They're feeling each other out, I guess you would say. Hayes targets Orton's knee, which was actually heavily wrapped up. Hayes slaps Orton and then jaws at the crowd. Orton slowly gets up and approaches Hayes, kicking Hayes and throwing Hayes into the ring post repeatedly. Orton then got in a series of European uppercuts and threw Hayes over the top rope. Orton went for his now signature back suplex on the commentary table, but Hayes countered it, only to have Orton sweep his legs out and him fall back first onto the table anyways. So basically, he still took the same bump. I thought that was genius. He counters the Randy Orton back suplex, only to basically still take the same bump, but just in a new way. I liked it a lot. Orton then rolled into the ring and the crowd chanted one more time. Orton went back outside of the ring. The crowd wanted it so bad, and then the show went to a commercial break before we saw what happened. I guess they wanted him to slam Carmelo on the table because the table didn't break. Back from the break, Hayes was working Orton's knee again inside the ring after gaining the advantage during the break. The crowd was chanting, "Let's go Orton," and Hayes ran to kick Orton's knee. So on the main roster, Carmelo Hayes is a heel. His last run in NXT was as a heel, and so he's continuing that heel run on the main roster, it looks like. Orton hit a series of clotheslines to Hayes. Orton then set up for a snap power slam, but Hayes grabbed the ropes and Orton clutched his knee. Soon after that, Orton was successful in the snap power slam. Hayes then came back with the first 48, which was good enough for a 2. Hayes then pounded on Orton's knee and went to the top rope. Hayes went for the nothing but net, but Orton moved and landed the draping DDT. Orton teased an RKO, but Hayes rolled up Orton for a near fall. Hayes then went for a springboard cutter, and Orton caught him. Caught him with the aforementioned RKO. That there was enough for Orton to pick up the victory and advance in the King of the Ring tournament. So we do now know that it'll be Randy Orton versus Tonga next week. This then leads to Kathy Kelly interviewing Orton, but Orton not being able to say anything because the Bloodline comes out. Bloodline makes their way out on the stage, and Orton grabs the microphone. He said, "Hey, are you trying to intimidate me or something?" Orton fired up and listed off all his credentials, messed up a couple times. He was like, "I'm a 14-time former world champion." Orton said that next week, he's going to introduce his foot directly up Tama's ass. Orton then shouted, "And then I'll introduce you into the most deadliest letters in all of professional wrestling, RKO." And then the show goes off the air. So, Randy Orton wins. They build up big time the match between him and Tonga. I like the way they built that up, where it's like, oh, Orton wins, he advances. No, Orton wins, but then we get a little bit of a confrontation between him and his opponent, where there is history between him and his opponent from the last pay-per-view. So all of this is working great. Now, here's the thing. Next week's SmackDown. Next week's SmackDown will be coming to us from Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The show will air in its normal time slot on Fox next week, 8/7 Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, if you watch it live on the Fox Sports app at the Fox Sports website. But it will be airing in prime time on TNT Sport. So, next week at 8 p.m. UK time, SmackDown will be airing. So if you somehow have a feed for TNT Sport, whether maybe you're using the Sports Fire app on your Amazon Fire Stick or Google Chromecast, you can watch SmackDown in the morning, whether that is, or early afternoon, whether that is at 10 a.m. Pacific or 1 p.m. Eastern. You can watch SmackDown early. Again, if you want to know how to do it, I'll put out a link right when SmackDown goes on the air early next week. Or you could just look up, if you have an Amazon Fire Stick or a Google Chromecast, how to install what is called the Sports Fire app. That's all I'm going to say. Not going to give you guys any more context on that. If you guys want to look into it for yourself, Sports Fire app is amazing. It gives you live sports for like everything. So check that out. And yeah, next week's Friday Night SmackDown should be really good. We know that we're getting Nia Jax versus Bianca Belair and Randy Orton versus Tonga. And then they teased Bayley and Chelsea, but they didn't officially announce that on the broadcast. So we'll see if that gets announced throughout the week. As far as all of that does go, you know what I thought of SmackDown? I like SmackDown. I enjoyed the show, and now I want to know what you guys out there thought of tonight's Friday Night SmackDown. Let me get this poll going on Twitch. What did you think of SmackDown? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't. And so as you guys vote in that poll on Twitch, check the other polls. Let's refresh all of these. As far as the Threads poll does go, 75% thought the show was just all right, and 25% liked the show. Looking at the Twitter X poll, which apparently there's no more Twitter.com, it's just X. So what happens if you type in TWITTER.com? It still takes you to Twitter.com. Okay. Again, seeing people tweeting, Tiffany kicking the baby. What fucking baby? Bianca's not pregnant. People need to shut up. Anywho, as far as the Twitter poll does go, because I'll still always call it Twitter, 78% liked the show, 21% thought it was just all right. Looking at the YouTube community poll, 79% liked the show, 15% thought it was just all right, and 6% didn't like it. Some of the comments here says, really good show. I honestly prefer Logan over Cody. His run is a bit boring right now. Well, Cody's an old school champion. He's doing the old school champion thing. So that's not what you like. That's not what you like. I think he's doing a great job. Says Bianca will beat Nia. That's what I think as well. And then this person called it trash. Okay. If you think the show is trash, you think the show is trash. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And as far as the YouTube live poll does go, 85% liked the show, 13% thought it was just all right, and 2% didn't like it. And finally, everybody that voted on Twitch liked the show. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we will be back live on Monday following Monday Night Raw. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. Oh.